everybody, Shell Brodnax here with another episode of Stage Your Talk. So glad that you can join us today. And today on Stage Your Talk, we have the fabulous Ryan Marsh on stage. How are you?
Hello, hello. Good. Thank you for having me, Shell.
Now, Ryan just
How are
shared
you doing?
a little tidbit of information with me today, so we'll go ahead and announce it. Or let Ryan, you talk about this. How many locations do you have now, Ryan?
So as of the 1st of April, we're actually at 4 now. So we just closed on a deal in Orange County for our 4th location. And so we're super excited to be servicing Southern California now. Everything's kind of a surprise with us. We don't really announce it until it's set in stone or until we've actually set foot on the ground. So big news. We're going to be hitting it hard down in Southern California.
I'm so excited for you guys. I don't know any, but I've known stagers that have had 2 locations in different states. Lyric Turner, she's gone back from Jersey or New York and Colorado. And I think you guys have the most.
Yeah, I think aside from Meredith Bear, we're up there for sure. And really it comes down to systems and knowing exactly what to do when we get there and having just a kind of a critical training path in getting people up to speed. So process is a huge part of it. And really, as far as my presentation at RESA, we're going to touch base on one of the processes that we use to figure out the resources we need as well. So it kind of correlates to what I'm going to be talking about.
Speaking of RESACON, so our talk today on Stage Your Talk is we're going to talk about Ryan's session at RESACON in July 2019 in Las Vegas. So Ryan, can you tell us the title of your talk and really what are the nuts and bolts of it?
Sure. So it's scaling your business through wholesale buying. And the reason I picked that topic is really it's kind of all-encompassing. It's the most expensive aspect of growing your staging business is knowing what resources you need in order to purchase a certain amount of inventory. And that's how we scale. And really that's where a lot of stagers fall short on their growth plans is having an idea of what they need to invest or knowing what they need to purchase to accommodate a certain amount of demand. And so, I mean, it's a great topic. I think it's one that'll be an eye-opener for a lot of people once they come to my presentations. I hope you all will show up. And there's wonderful spreadsheets I'm going to be sharing with everyone throughout the process, going over how to analyze your inventory to figure out how to best utilize it. Best practices for developing a buying plan. Absolutely going to be talking about the best practices when you're going through showrooms and buying, which I think a lot of people will be shocked to hear some of the feedback we have and what we've utilized to scale to 4 locations and make sure that we're utilizing our assets as effectively as possible.
That's so awesome. Now, I actually had the luxury of seeing your spreadsheet. You spoke at RESA Connect Atlanta in February. And I will tell everybody, if you were listening, RESACON is worth it alone just to see the spreadsheet. You impress me every time I speak to you. The knowledge that you have and you've got such a sound, calm mind. It's very refreshing. But when I saw your spreadsheet, I was like, okay, that just sent me over the edge. This guy's brain is something I just want by my nightstand every night. If I could just sit there and have a little Ryan pod talking to you and downloading the business ideas, I could actually market the crap out of that, Ryan. So if you want to do an app with me, and I can market you. You're very smart, and I guarantee you will love the spreadsheet. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I developed. Basically, everything that we've developed at OnStage is based out of need. And obviously, not everybody has the luxury to take a 30,000 foot view of their business and really pinpoint where the issues are. It was pretty apparent for us when we opened in Seattle, our 2nd location. We ended up with this kind of a funny story. This is before we did the analysis, before we had a structured buying plan, but we ended up with about 90 coffee tables and about 10 end tables to pair with them. And that was just through buying, just off the cuff, going to the showroom, seeing something we liked and purchasing it. So we learned very quickly we had to solve that problem. And with the spreadsheet, I just slowly developed it. The nice thing about it is it really shows you the overall need based on your goals. And it's very intuitive. It's something that we're going to go through in depth at RESACON this year. And then I'm also going to provide a copy of it for you guys to use as well. So
yeah, I love that, because your spreadsheet is actually helps you with predictability and your projections of what you're going to need, how much it's going to cost, how many times you're going to rent that out to make your money back, so you know when you're in full % profit mode.
Right. Absolutely. So my background is in finance. So for me, I like to look ahead. My goal is to be able to try and anticipate what is going to happen or what we will need. So based on growth patterns for previous years, we can easily figure out the volume of projects that we need to stage or the demand for our service. And from there, we just kind of work backwards and we get really this holistic number that gives us, we're utilizing our assets appropriately in the dollars that we have in order to stage what we need and not overspend, which a lot of stagers end up in a predicament where they will spend more than they should, and they won't have a margin left at the end of the year. So,
yeah, I love it. Now, some of the other things that you shared at Connect Atlanta, and you're actually going to share as well at RESACON, was about how you can finance that inventory. Can you talk about that for just we don't want to give away the farm, because I know we're going to have this as a resource, but
sure.
I want to put the bug in everybody's ear.
Sure. So my finance guy is actually very excited about this. But we figured it out through our athletic club. So we finance our equipment there over the term, and it's basically $1 buyout at the end of that term. But what that allows you to do is make revenue on product before you fully paid for it. And so we thought it was kind of a no-brainer to try and finance our staging inventory as equipment. And that's exactly what we did. So you can secure a long-term lease, 3 to 5 years. I typically say a 3-year lease, because after 3 years, there's a good chance the furniture's kind of run its course. But really what this allows you to do is keep your cash flow high and lower your expenses. It really, as far as scaling your business, freeing up cash flow is key to scaling. So it's a really interesting way to do it. I'm not going to give too much information, like you said, because my presentation.
We got a little bit of we're going to wait for the internet to catch up. So yeah, we don't want to give away the farm, but Ryan's going to talk about this extensively during his topic at RESACON. And then of course, we're going to work to be able to bring this to everybody in the industry. Something that I don't think anybody else has ever thought of. So this is their brainchild up there, and interested to see what other people can do with it. So let me ask you this. So we know from doing surveys in the industry that when people start to buy wholesale, right now the feedback that we're getting from our surveys is that they look at really about the 4-year mark, in business for about 4 years. But can you see any reason why somebody couldn't just do that in their first year? And we really start to be thinking strategically about that. And I also want to talk about, I know I'm a risk taker, you're a risk taker, and I think a lot of what holds people back is the failure for their ability to weigh risk and reward, because they don't understand how to get the data to be able to do that. But somebody in their first year of business doesn't mean they can't take the risk, but they have to have the information. So where do you look at that as far as when is the right time to do this, or is there a right time?
Sure. So we'll talk about the risk aspect first. And people ask me all the time, how do you sleep at only time that you're making high risk investments is if you don't know exactly what's going to happen, or if you haven't sat down and created a plan. So the risk is in not knowing what your plan is and not having done the legwork on it. So there is work that has to be done in order to really feel confident in your decisions. And so looking at each decision you make within your business from an objective standpoint, and really thoroughly utilizing the numbers and the statistics that you have to make those decisions will alleviate a lot of that stress. And then you still get the same return, but you're able to cope with it. And really, we'll touch base on that 4-year mark. I think that traditionally that's probably appropriate, because in our industry, we haven't had something such as a RESA buying group to break down those barriers for us and to really unify the industry with the vendors. The first vendor that we were able to purchase wholesale from was Ashley. We actually had to place a $10,000 order. I wasn't on stage at the time, But back then, that was a big deal. $10,000 on one order, when you're basically working with the cash flow that you have, it can really strap your business. So the RESA buying group has kind of broke down those barriers. There's no reason to not start your business buying wholesale. With these minimum orders being so low, I couldn't imagine not taking advantage of it, especially with it being free with the RESA membership. So really it comes down to the initial investment.
Yeah, I love it. And we will be talking more about the RESA buying group, and Ryan will talk more about that during his session as well. But it is a great deal. It's like we've gone into our collective buying power, and the only way that a buying group can work is really literally for the entire industry to be utilizing it. To break things off into segments and people doing other things in other places, it really dilutes that. And what will end up happening is that if the vendors that are part of the buying group and willing to look at us as an industry with our collective purchasing power, if they don't get the return on their investment, they're going to do what every smart business person does, just as the stagers do. You don't keep doing things that aren't making you money. You have to make strategic decisions in order for the business to flourish, and the same thing will happen. So far, we've been
right. I would say.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it is absolutely an opportunity, and what you've been able to do with it so far has been pretty incredible. But I would wholeheartedly agree, it's got to be used. There's no reason not to use it. I mean, like I said, when you're going to buy furniture, typically you're buying in the thousands already. You might as well be ordering wholesale and saving the cash for other items you need to address it within your business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we love the vendors. I mean, we're trying to add on more. We don't want to get so many in there because, again, if I have 100 vendors in the buying group to choose from, it's not likely, I think, with the volume that people are buying wholesale, that we're going to be able to service 100 vendors. So we want to find the vendors that are most popular, that most people are using, so we can make sure we give those vendors a good return on their investment, because they're investing in our industry and they want to be involved. So we definitely want to get people using the buying group. So check it out, RESABuyingGroup.com. If you have not signed up, it's included in your RESA membership. And anything else about RESACON that you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Not necessarily. So the topic that Todd and I are going to be discussing following this presentation, it's all going to kind of correlate. So I would suggest if you're going to show up to this presentation, to also show up to the one with Todd and I talking about curating a look, because it sounds as if it's very designer, which it is, but at the same time, it's going to go over best practices to utilize your assets most effectively, utilize your warehouse space, make sure you're thinking about the practical use of each piece you're buying, the durability of it, those sorts of aspects, and it does correlate to my first topic. So I would encourage you to visit both, of course.
Hit them both up. So as with RESACON, what we do every year is we do 3 sessions at a time, and we try to organize them as a topic that's more inclined for somebody who's newer into the industry, maybe somebody mid-level, and then advanced topic or a niche topic. That's how we structure it. Now, of course, if you're year 1 in the industry and you want to go to advanced topic, please feel free to do that. All the information is going to do is just help you further along in your business sooner than perhaps somebody else had to wait for that information. So check us out, resaconvention.com. The Home Staging Industry Awards are also open right now. So I know, Ryan, you were recently nominated as the most influential person in real estate staging.
Oh, I had no idea.
We've sent you 2 emails.
I had no idea. Well, that's good to know.
I'll send you another email to remind you, because you got to log into the system and update your bio and your photo and whatnot and download your logo. So I'll do that this afternoon and resend it to you. So congratulations on that. You're definitely an influencer.
Well, thank you.
As well as Todd as well from On Stage up in Portland. So check it out. If you have never applied for a Home Staging Industry Awards, please submit. Check it out. This is one of the best ways to be able to market your company. The members, the peers vote on this. We do a top 10 list. So it'll be a top 10 professional stager, occupied listings USA, occupied Canada. So we divide them up. And it's a great way to market yourself. Like I said, it's only $60 to enter, and then the more you enter, the price will go down. There are several free categories that you can nominate others as well. But check it out, because once you make that top 10 list, then you get to say you were one of the top 10 real estate stagers in the industry. And then, of course, if you win, and
absolutely,
Stager of the Year, Todd won Professional Stager of the Year. What has that done for him?
Absolutely. Every time we do a big sort of conference where we have a booth or something to set up, we bring the awards along with us, and it's always a spectacle. People always ask about the Real Estate Staging Association, and we always give them the full scoop on what it is, what it's done for the industry, and it really provides a whole lot of credibility for us through the process, and I would say absolutely yields work for us, and it's a great talking point as well. So it is worth your while, $60 to potentially be an award winner. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the awards. We love to honor as many people as we can every year. I think we have over 70 awards that get handed out. We have a great awards banquet at RESACON as well, and it's so amazing. We do it kind of like the Emmys or the Oscars, where we have video up on the screen and the winner comes up, and we have a professional photographer this year as well. Oh, by the way, new announcement, we have a professional photographer that's going to be there taking headshots for RESA members at RESACON for no additional fee. So you can also walk away with RESACON with a free headshot, professional headshot. And everybody who's been to RESACON for the last 8 years will know Mike, our photographer. He's been my boots on the ground in Vegas, so he will be back to be able to do that. And we're super excited to have him this year for all 3 days. Super stoked about that. So I think that's going to wrap up our time. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Until next time, happy staging. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shell. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being on here, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thanks, Shell.